Hi everyone, it's Nicole and here we go again. This is the result of a month-long class, 3 or 4 projects, and in the last few days I got home from a crop I didn't put away yet, and then some videos that I filmed, some book hauls. It's absolutely crazy. And I need to clean this up. My brain can't think anymore. And this, like I cleaned it like 5 days ago, 6 days ago. And it's just when you film a whole bunch of videos like in a row, I mean, my area where I scrap is fairly clean. Like I cleaned that off, but it's just right here. So I'm gonna put you on my little tripod and we are going to clean this mess up. Okay, so every time my room gets like that, I just feel so overwhelmed. And then once I start cleaning, it's like, it wasn't really that bad. On my main desk right now, there is quite a few sort of big things that as soon as I put those away, it was like, oh, this isn't so bad. But the reason my room gets like this is I have always, on any given week, I have 4 or 5 projects on the go. It's ridiculous. Right now, I have my December daily that I'm working on. I have my mini album for all the books that I read in 2020, and I'm doing it in 2 different ways. I'm doing in my reading journal, and I'm also doing it Project Lifestyle. I have my Scrapathon that's going on right now, and that is 31 layouts in a month, and that's 31 different challenges every day. And I really like that because it gets us to try maybe new or different things or something that we haven't done in a while. And I find that once you have a challenge or a goal, you can get a page done so much quicker because you're not sitting there for 15-20 minutes trying to figure out what you're going to do. So when I have a big mess like this, I don't look at the room as a whole. I say, okay, I'm going to get my desk done, and if I get that done, it's good. So I start looking at what's on the desk. I start dividing pattern papers that are full, like full sheets or scraps. I divide them into piles. And then the first thing I did was look at what was on my desk and if there was any big things on my desk that I could take away. I had a few iris container. I had an iris container that contained my templates. I had another iris container that was the container for my Scrapathon class, so I put those away. I had my box for my trimmer because I just got back from a crop and the next day I was working, so I really didn't have time to put my stuff away. So it was still sitting there, so I took up that container up on my desk and I started putting stuff away. I had a tray that had all my distress stains in them, and I knew I had some in that I had brought with me to the crop, so I brought those up and put them away so I wouldn't have to go to that basket 4 or 5 times. Another thing I do is I don't shuffle. So what I mean by that is I don't take something from here and just put it temporarily over there so that then it becomes that problem. So I make sure that I put it where it belongs, and everything in my scrap room has a place that it goes. So I make sure that even though if I have a sticker sheet, I don't go every time I pick up a sticker sheet and go to my sticker drawer. I'll make little piles, and then once I have a big pile of it, then I'll go to my sticker drawer or to my thickers drawer and put my thickers away. I don't move stuff to another area to my room so that I can say, oh, well, I'll deal with that at that point. I make piles, and then once the pile gets big enough, then I put that stash away. And like I said, I'm working on the scrapathon, so I had a lot of pattern papers that were scraps, and I put them right away in a large baggie because I use them during the lives. I will go through those and make a page kit, and we'll make a page together. Now, lately I've made extra room in my scrap room because in my living room we bought a calyx from IKEA. It's the big one, the 5x5 container, and the first two containers, or the first two rows in the calyx, I left them open, and I've been taking down my scrapbook albums downstairs so that we can look at them a little bit more, and I can already tell that it's working because we've already looked through a few albums, and so that's going to be fun. But it's opening up some spaces for me that I can put my supplies. Now, the first thing I always clean is my desk, because then I can use my desk as an area where I can separate stuff. Like I said, I've just got back from a crop about a week ago, and I still hadn't put my stuff away. So those are my page kits. So I separated my page kits. I have a spot where now I can keep my page kits, and then that way whenever I make page kits, I can say, oh, I have a spot where I keep my page kits. So when I want to make a page while I'm in my room, I can just go to that area and grab a page kit to work with. So I've pretty much put everything away that I brought to the crop, and also that was on my major part of my desk. So now this is like when you see my videos on YouTube, this is what you see, my blue mat, and I have an area in front of it. I have that TV there because when I do the lives, I can actually see what I'm cropping on that TV, because then I use a different camera to film so that it's live. And then that little round thing that's on top of my TV, that's what I use for my mic. I hook it up where I normally put my phone to film, and that's where you guys can, that's my mic, so that it's nice and clear. Now, in front of my mat, it was so messy. I can't believe how messy it was. So I have a couple little containers that I use for trash, and those were overfull. So I cleaned those out first, and now you see me kind of grabbing everything else and just cleaning off my desk. And when I first started cleaning my area, I just wanted to make it that I could think, because when it's that messy, I can't think. And I said that I was going to do a video a day for the next foreseeable future because of everything that's going on, around us and how stressed everybody is. And I thought it would be a fun thing. I know a lot of people are quarantined at home, so just some extra videos for you guys to watch. But I thought, I just got so much going on right now. In my scrap room, I can't even think straight. So it was time to reset. And that's why I call this time to reset. But, a week ago, I pretty much did the same thing, but I just cleaned the main area of my desk. But today, I just said, no, I'm doing everything. So once in a while, I'll just clean the whole thing. I'll get a rag and I'll wash my area. And I decided that today was that day. I just went and got a rag and I cleaned off my table, and I'm going to clean off the rest of the table. I even, at one point you're going to see me clean off my windowsill. It was just a gorgeous day. At one point, I even opened up the window in my craft room because the air just felt so good. It felt like a spring day. It was so nice. So I don't know if that's what kind of put me in the mood, like almost like a spring cleaning. I could have, I'll be honest with you, I could probably have cleaned it up a little bit more, because the desk that you see behind me, I'm not going to touch that at all, because that is filled with layouts that are completed, but that just need journaling, a date or something, and then to be put in an album. And that's a project that I want to get done this year. But it's something that's going to take me quite a bit of time. So I just wanted to get my room so that it was nice and clean, and you just feel so good walking in, to your room. So I bring back my mat. I take some dish soap, I put some soap on there, and then I have a magic eraser, and I'm just cleaning off my mat. I do that, 4 or 5 times a year. I make sure to clean off my mat. I just need to be more vigilant and use my mixed media mat when I spray some mist, because then it just goes on my mixed media mat and not the mat that I'm filming at. And now I had all my project life cards sort of in a little pile there next to me, and they kept falling on the floor, and I thought, you know what, right next to my mini distressors by Tim Holtz, that's the perfect place for those project life cards. Now I have one thing left to put away from the crop, and it's this tool bag that I bought at Michael's quite a few years ago, and I put all the tools that I want to bring to a crop. So I have, some pens and my X-Acto knives, a pencil, and then I have my clear gesso, some extra glue, some paste, and then I'm all ready for my crop. And when I get home, it's fairly easy to put away because everything's in there. And what I do is I keep that bag in my basement so that it's out of my craft room, because I don't need it in my craft room. I don't know if you saw right in front of my mat, I have this little black organizer, and that's where I put all my pencils and all that stuff, just because it's just more accessible. So I'm going to move on to a different area of my room, and that Alex drawer there, it broke. I have to get my husband to fix it, but it's not good for punches. So I had to take a lot of the punches out of my Alex drawers because they were breaking the drawers. So as you saw me bending down there, that's all the punches that I'm picking up, and I'm putting them on my windowsill. I'm going to get some rods from IKEA, and I'm going to put my punches onto my wall. Can I just say that I wish I could clean this fast? This took me 2.5 hours to clean up my room. If only I could go this quickly to clean my room, it would be amazing. So this printer here that you see is my Canon Pro 100. I can print some pictures with that. It'll print a big format. Like I think the biggest it can print is like 13 by 19, which is way bigger than what you need for a scrapbook layout. So I can print a 12 by 12 if I want to. And that's also the printer that I use to print my viewfinders and my labels. I did a little bit of research, and I was able to refill my inks. So I bought some refill inks for pretty cheap. Like I think altogether with, the exchange and everything and the shipping, it cost me about $200. And I have 8 4-ounce bottles, and I've already refilled all the bottles once, and you can barely tell that there's any ink gone out of the bottles. So I think it's going to last me a very long time, and I'm going to be able to print over and over again, especially those viewfinders and those labels and just my pictures. Now this chair that you see here, it's my new stool, and I absolutely love it. It's from Amazon Basics, and it was fairly cheap. It was pretty affordable, but I use it all the time now. Now I can decide whether I can stand or sit, and it's way easier on my back. The next thing I'm going to do is, these are all my new purchases that I've done in the last little bit. So I'm taking some of those big baggies, and I'm dividing everything by collection until that I use them quite a bit. I don't want to put them with my regular scrapbooking supplies because I want to make sure that I use these supplies in the next in the next year before I buy more scrapbooking supplies. So these are all the stuff that I got at the crop, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm taking a minute, I'm dividing everything by collection. I'm putting them in those big giant baggies, and then I'm putting them away. And because I'm bringing all those albums downstairs, this is where I'm putting all these supplies where my albums used to be. And look, oh, a little distraction, the new puppy. So that was pretty funny because he brought the dog upstairs because the dog was at the bottom of the steps because he could hear me upstairs. So he brought the dog upstairs so that I could say hi. And then at one point you see me pointing to the camera. I'm like, I'm filming. And he was like, oh. So he booted it downstairs. But you can't even see his face anyway. You can only see the dog. But that's it. That was the end of it. And now I'm going to come to you real time and show you the room. Okay, so after 2.5 hours, I have it looking like this. It's not perfect, but this is my December daily, so I might as well keep it out because I got to finish that. And if I put it away, it's never going to be finished. That's left over from the class I'm doing right now, Scrapathon. So we're having a live tomorrow, so that's the stuff I'm going to be using. So I got that there. But I put everything away. That's my new chair that I got for my room. I love it. I got it on Amazon. It's awesome. But everything, I mean, everything's like it's full, but it's all like that's supposed to be there. So, yay. I'm glad I got this done. Like everything's cleaned. Guess I even got all the stuff away from the crop. The only thing I got to figure out is all my diamond painting. I think I'm just going to roll them up and put them away because I was going to put another table right here, but I think I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to roll them up and put them away. But the rest of the room is ready for my video a day for the next 30 plus days. That's it. I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.